The industry of general stores, which is more commonly known as kirana dukan, is highly fragmented and unorganized, and all the FMCG companies have established a long chain of middlemen to reach out to these general stores, who in turn become the face of the company and make the sales to the end consumers. Now, if we look at the urban landscape, a number of modern trade has come up who are trying to bring in efficiencies in the supply chain to be able to supply the products from the manufacturers to the consumers at a very cheap price. As per the data which is available, a number of FMCG companies have been going around and talking in their analyst calls or in their public announcement that they really think that the rural demand is big. But we don't see any venture which has come in that space to grab the potential that the rural demand has for this industry. And hence we started up with Rural Future Tech Private Limited, wherein the objective is to organize the industry with a particular brand name of the store that we are running, and we intend to link the manufacturers with the consumers and ensure that we earn from the margin which was being earned by the channel of the middleman which was present before. So we started this last year, and currently we are running a chain of retail stores in 4 districts of Odisha, namely Khurda, Puri, Cuttack and Nayagarh, and there are 17 stores that we are already running. And we have started these stores on a franchise model, wherein the franchise owner deposits an initial security deposit against which we procure the materials and we provide them. There are terms wherein there is a proper agreement which is signed between the company and the franchise owner, and we have put in a term wherein they cannot keep any other stock other than the one which is supplied by our company. So this ensures that they supply only the material which we supply to them, and that is exactly how we are able to cut down on the middleman in between. If we look at the rural households, it is the prices play the major role in their decision making. So we had to come up with something which ensures that we attract the consumers on its own with the least marketing and advertising expense, and that's how we were able to finalize that low price is the key. And by eliminating that, we are able to supply the materials to our franchise owners and in the end to the consumers at a price which is fairly lower than the price which is offered by a normal kirana stores. If we look at the products that we are offering or which is being sold by our stores, it covers a range of products like groceries, cosmetics, toiletries, and any daily utility stuff which is usually demanded or which is usually available at any of the kirana store. Along with the FMCG products which are branded and packaged, we also supply a lot of non-branded yet packaged cereals, grains, pulses, sugar, oil, because these in turn lead to a very huge chunk of the spend of the rural households. So if you look at the business idea, it's basically we procure directly from the manufacturer, we store it, and we supply it on time to these store owners who in turn make the sales. We also keep an eye on the quantity that we are supplying, looking at the demand that they're able to generate. So it's not like if someone wants to increase the quantity or increase the order size, we let them do it. It's all being handled by a head office team, and they look at the quantity which we can supply. So we have basically created a digital platform wherein all of them are connected, and there's a real-time update as to what is being sold from which store, how much have they been able to store. And even if when we look at the customer side, or we thought of creating a database of this rural household to be able to basically analyze the purchasing pattern, or what factors determine their decision. So we're also creating that by having a digital platform wherein their IDs are created, and every customer, whenever he makes a purchase, it is through that customer ID. And again, if we look at the marketing part, it's the low price which is playing a key for us. It is already showing potential in the 17 stores that we have opened, and since they are reporting pretty good sales, we are also getting application from a number of people who want to become a franchise owner or a dealer with us. Our idea is really unique in the sense that the franchise owners are also working as an entrepreneur, and it's not that we are making the entire investment. So if you look at the business side, it is they who are making the investment, and yet we are also earning margins on it, and even they are able to earn some margin on it. If I talk about the target audience, we started with a view that we'll be able to only cater to the rural households, but over time what we realized is that wherever we have opened the stores, in the vicinity of it, there are a number of private stores, small stores, who find it difficult to travel to the semi-urban area to procure some stuff, and we have been getting requests from them to make a supply to them. So what we did is we did a certain modification, and we converted some storage space which is already available at our stores to act like a zonal warehouse. So we are also now making deals with these B2B partners who are basically store owners. There's a proper framework for anything that we are doing. So these store owners cannot just come in and buy. There is a proper agreement, and we also also have an agreement with the manufacturers of the product, so that we don't come into any kind of dispute with their current chain which is already operating. Over time, what we noticed that there's a lot of demand for online sales and home delivery of stuff. So in the most recent development, I can tell you that we've also started an online delivery system wherein people, like the consumers as well as the store owners, can place their orders, and we get the stuff delivered to their place, and the payment term which is there in this particular scenario is COD.
हमारा कंपनी का मार्केटिंग कैसे करते हैं कि हम हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, हर ब्लॉक में एक तो डीसीओ और बीसीओ अपॉइंटेड किए हैं. डीसीओ इन द सेंस डिस्ट्रिक्ट कोऑर्डिनेटर ऑफिसर, और बीसीओ आई मीन ब्लॉक कोऑर्डिनेटर ऑफिसर. उन लोग का क्या काम होता है कि उन लोग हर रूरल में जाकर, हर गांव में जाकर जो फ्रेंचाइजी लेने के लिए जो इंटरेस्टेड है उन लोग को ढूंढना, और उन लोग को हमारा कंपनी के साथ कनेक्ट करना है. और वो रूरल में हमारा इवेंट भी अरेंज करते हैं, और हम लोग जाके जो इंटरेस्टेड कैंडिडेट है उनको हमारा कंपनी के बारे में, हमारा कंपनी के बिजनेस मॉडल के बारे में हम बताते हैं. और जो कैंडिडेट इंटरेस्ट होगा हमारा बिजनेस मॉडल में काम करने के लिए, तो हमारा जो कंपनी का क्राइटेरिया है, हमारा जो एप्लीकेशन फॉर्मेट है, हम किस हिसाब से फ्रेंचाइजर को फ्रेंचाइजी देते हैं, तो वो क्राइटेरिया हमारा थोड़ा स्ट्रांग होता है कि हम पहले की आईडी प्रूफ, आधार प्रूफ, और जो पुलिस क्लियरेंस, सरपंच क्लियरेंस, और सेकंड थिंग जो स्टोर को बनाएगा, जो स्टोर बनेगा तो उनका मिनिमम 300 स्क्वायर फुट होना चाहिए. तो ये क्राइटेरिया फुलफिल करके हमारा एप्लीकेंट वो भर सकते हैं. वो भी कम्प्लीटली डिजिटली है, वो कम्प्लीटली उसमें पूरा उनका डिटेल्स देना पड़ेगा. तो हमारा अभी 700 एप्लीकेंट अभी हमारे पास है. जो 700 स्टोर अगर देखेंगे, 700 एप्लीकेंट को अगर हम स्टोर में कन्वर्ट करेंगे तो 300 हमारा बहुत आसान से हो जाएगा. अगर हमारा कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट आया जाएगा, कमिंग 6 मंथ में हम 300 स्टोर आसान से खोल पाएंगे. तो ये था हमारा बिजनेस का बेसिकल बिजनेस का मार्केटिंग मॉडल. तो हमारा ये क्या करते हैं कि अगर फ्रेंचाइजर को स्टोर हो गया, स्टोर उसको मिल गया, तो उनके बाद उनका क्या काम रहता है, वो क्या करेंगे कि जो जिस बंदे को, जिस आदमी को हम फ्रेंचाइजी देते हैं, उनका पहला काम है कि हमारा जो कंपनी से जो मिलता है कि कैंपेन सॉन्ग और जो बैनर का डिजाइन, वो सब हम उनको प्रोवाइड कर देते हैं. वो क्या करते हैं, हर गांव में जिस एरिया में उनका स्टोर रहता है, वो नियर बाई प्लेस में, उनका पूरा पंचायत में वो होर्डिंग लगाता है, और कैंपेन सॉन्ग जो कैंपेन गाड़ी को घुमाता है, और डोर टू डोर. बेसिकली हम अगर मार्केटिंग में ज्यादा देखेंगे तो डोर टू डोर कैंपेन सबसे बड़ा इफेक्ट देता है, इफेक्ट पकाता है हमारा ये मार्केटिंग में. डोर टू डोर घूम के वो क्या करते हैं, बिजनेस ग्रोसरी कार्ड बनाते हैं डोर टू डोर घूम के. अगर हम उड़ीसा का मार्केट साइज में देखेंगे, उड़ीसा का मार्केट साइज है 7000 ग्राम पंचायत. तो 7000 हम आगे तक 7000 स्टोर भी ओपन कर सकते हैं. अगर देखेंगे कि हमारा जो स्टोर है, तो उन हिसाब से हम देखेंगे हर स्टोर में हम 500 कार्ड प्रोवाइड करते हैं, ग्रोसरी कार्ड. 500 कार्ड इन द सेंस 500 फैमिली को हम देते हैं. अगर ऐसे देखेंगे तो हर पंचायत में 1500 से लेकर 2000 तक फैमिली रहते हैं. हम मिनिमल में 500 स्टोर को पहले से लिए हैं. अगर 500 कार्ड देखेंगे, और 500 का परचेजिंग कैपेसिटी, हर फैमिली का परचेजिंग कैपेसिटी पर मंथ 3000 मिनिमम में हिसाब अगर करेंगे, तो अगर ऐसे देखेंगे तो 7000 स्टोर और 500 कस्टमर, और तो हर आदमी का, हर फैमिली का 3000 परचेसिंग कैपेसिटी, उसी हिसाब से अगर कैलकुलेशन करेंगे 7000 इंटू 500 इंटू 3000 अगर देखेंगे तो पर मंथ हमको 1050 करोड़ का बिजनेस टर्नओवर होता है। उस हिसाब से हम ये उड़ीसा का बात बोल रहे हैं। अगर हम इंडिया का अभी तो उसका ऊपर तो इंडिया तो बहुत बड़ा मार्केट है, उस हिसाब से हम कैलकुलेट अभी नहीं बता पाएंगे। तो ये हम बोल रहे हैं कि उड़ीसा का मार्केट साइज। और हमारा जो दो टाइप का कार्ड होता है, एक तो बिजनेस कार्ड होता है जो हम छोटा मोटा स्टोर को हम सप्लाई देते हैं, और एक जो अपना का जो स्टोर में जो डायरेक्ट कंज्यूमर को जो कार्ड देते हैं, ग्रोसरी कार्ड। अगर वो दो टाइप का कार्ड के हम देखेंगे तो हमारा जो कंज्यूमर कार्ड होता है, ग्रोसरी कार्ड होता है, और उनका प्राइसिंग स्ट्रेटेजी देखेंगे तो उनको आहिस्ता बढ़ाते हैं और आहिस्ता कमाते हैं। मान लीजिए कि आज एक चीज का प्रोडक्ट हाइप हो गया तो हम तुरंत हाइप नहीं करते हैं कि आज कौन सा प्रोडक्ट को गिर जाता है, प्राइस थोड़ा कम हो जाता है तो उसको तुरंत नहीं करते, उसको एक तो अफोर्डेबल प्राइस स्ट्रक्चर में उसको लेते हैं, तुरंत नहीं बढ़ाते हैं, तुरंत नहीं कमाते हैं उसको। अगर देखेंगे तो बिजनेस कार्ड में जो बिजनेस वेंडर को जो कार्ड हम देते हैं उनका प्राइसिंग स्ट्रेटेजी अलग होता है। उनका डेली मार्केट साइज मार्केट प्राइस हिसाब से उनको ऊपर नीचे किया जाता है कि अगर मान लीजिए कि आज प्राइस बढ़ गया तो बिजनेस वेंडर के लिए बढ़ा हुआ प्राइस में जाएगा, अगर आज प्राइस गिर गया तो वो गिरने का प्राइस हिसाब से उनको मिल जाएगा। तो वो दो का बिजनेस प्राइसिंग स्ट्रक्चर अलग अलग होता है। यह था हमारा कंपनी का मार्केटिंग मॉडल था। तो अगर मार्केट साइज देखेंगे तो हमारा अभी तक उड़ीसा में हमारा कोई कंपटीटर नहीं है। हम इंडिया के बारे में तो बोल नहीं पाएंगे कि ये कोई कंप्यूटर है कि नहीं है, वो तो पता नहीं है हमको। तो अभी तक हमारा ऐसे कोई कंप्यूटर हमारा मॉडल पे कोई आए हैं हम अभी तक नहीं देखे हैं। तो अगर देखेंगे कि हमारा उड़ीसा में मार्केट साइज तो बहुत बड़ा है और सिंगल प्लेयर है, हम अभी तक कोई हमारा कंप्यूटर नहीं है। तो अगर हमको कोई फंडिंग का कुछ बैक सपोर्ट का फंडिंग का कुछ अरेंजमेंट हो जाए तो हम पूरा उड़ीसा का मार्केट को ग्रैब कर सकते हैं। अगर पहले से हमारा टारगेट की उड़ीसा को ग्रैब करना है और उसके बाद हम स्टेट को हमारा बिजनेस मॉडल को लेके जाके इंट्रोड्यूस करना है।
As per my understanding, if I talk about the rural interior areas, I believe that there is still lack of accessibility in these areas. A number of startups have come up in the space of logistics and digital platform, yet they cannot deliver products or services when I talk about such rural or tribal areas. If a product, suppose a big FMCG company today launches a product which is even advertised on television, or there is a product which has its utility in these rural areas, there's a demand for those products, but the problem lies in making the products reach to the consumers directly at a price which is still affordable for them. So according to me, if I talk about the rural areas, it is the accessibility or the lack of infrastructure which is the major reason behind this. Through RFT, what we are doing is we are creating micro entrepreneurs in these areas as well. We are giving them an opportunity to start their own venture, and this in turn also leads to creation of a physical infrastructure, and through which we could be delivering some of the other services as well which are required in those areas but which are not present. Imagine today there is a huge demand for a product which is being manufactured in Gujarat. Now, in the first place, no one is aware that there is a demand lying in this potential area, and so there is no question of linking them to each other. Through us, we are able to know that there is this demand, and we can procure it in a quantity which still makes that affordable after it's delivered in this area. This is how we believe that we are creating a change, or we are making a difference through our business model. We are able to get the customer feedback on a real-time basis, and through the platform which we have created digitally, we can easily understand that what is the major chunk of purchasing which is being done by these rural households. If I talk about the urban space, there are a number of databases which is available, which is being used by the consumer goods industry to, before they launch their products, they want to determine which products will work, what is the strata of the population there, what is their income levels, what is the demographics, which is a part of a strategy for every major company. But when we talk about the rural space, there is no one who is able to give a data which is somewhere or other, vetted by someone that, okay, this, we can rely on this and we can come up with a product which will suit their needs. So I believe through RFT we are also creating a database of the trends or the purchasing pattern of and of a huge population of India, which will be really beneficial in future for the entire consumer sector. If I talk about our operations, right from the stage of dealers application to the stage of consumer sales, it all happens digitally. The dealer makes an application online. He scans and submits all his documents like the clearance, the character certificate or the clearance from the police or his ID card. Or if I talk about the physical space, that we have a criteria of 300 square feet for every physical store. So he even shoots a video and he uploads it on the link that we provided to him. So our application process has a very broad framework, and that also happens digitally. And whatever products are supplied to our dealers, they are only supposed to scan the product through the barcode reader. So how it operates is, whenever the agreement gets signed, we open an ID for every franchise store owner, and the ID is created on jalkalyan.store, which is basically an interface for connecting these store owners to the head office, and that's where all our transactions are being recorded. We provide a basket of products which we believe will be usually bought by the households there. So what will be supplied in how much quantity, that is the decision of the company. And we also give them an initial kit, a digital kit, which includes a tablet, a printer and a barcode reader. So we charge the amount for it from them. So that's how we are helping them come on to a digital platform with us. And the prices, so our entire business model has a very it actually revolves around the price part of it, and that is where we have the maximum control. So on the interface, as I just mentioned, that's where they connect with the stores to the head office. The head office can change the prices of different commodities. So when I talk about commodities, these are the unbranded products like the cereals, grains, oils, sugar, and all of those products. And if there's a rise in the prices, we can input a price and it will reflect in all the stores that we are running. And whenever there's an increase at a later stage, the prices go up. It's the dealers who make the margins, because our sales have happened at a fixed price when we had sold as in supplied the products to them. So it is always beneficial for our dealers. And since everything is happening on a digital platform, we are able to see what is the sales that they are making, what is the inventory that they have, and what should we be procuring next. So there's a real-time data available for us to look at everything. When I talk about the consumer behavior, the entire sales happens through a card which is basically given to them at the time they register themselves as a customer for every store. So we can always trace for any particular consumer what all products is he buying in a particular month, which is traceable to the customer ID that has been created on his name. So, and when I talk about the business vendors, the entire process is same for them. It's just that the pricing strategy is a bit different when I compare the end consumers to the business vendors. Currently, we have started our operations in Odisha, and we are targeting on the first step to capture the potential which is present in this state as a whole. There are a number of rural and interior areas which are not accessible and which have remained untouched, and we want to explore that opportunity through RFT. And once Odisha is covered, our plan is to first cover the entire East India, because their demographics seem to be and their behaviors seem to be much similar to each other, and then we plan to take it to other zones of India or other parts of India, if you can say. Vendor registration and the agreement is also specifically made, and it is designed to match the criteria of our operations to avoid any disputes that can probably come up in future for us. And a number of domestic level or national level players or regional level players in this space, in different spaces like grocery or cosmetics, have already been associated with us. Some of them are like HUL, P&G, Swadhisht, Ruchi Food Line, Haldiram's, Parle, Godrej, Bharat Masala. So we are already associated with all of these companies, and I'm really sure that in future when we offer them that these are the stores, this is the number of stores that we are running, most of these companies would want to be associated with us rather than going through the inefficient supply chain that they have created in the past. So here what we have created is probably a mix of a digital platform and a physical infrastructure, which we can certainly explore in future for a number of other things as well as things evolve in time. With the operations already continuing, we have a team of around 14 members who are able to look after the particular function that has been assigned to them. The strategy and the idea development, or if I talk about business development, and that is being done by the co-founders of the company, which is C. Ayush Sharma and Mr. Amlan Biswal. I'll try to brief you about the co-founders and their qualifications here. Mr. Amlan Biswal is a serial entrepreneur, and he has successfully established a number of startups in the field of media houses, medical services and FMCG sector before starting up with a startup in the retail segment. He has been a visionary, and most of his business and his idea has always been to create a profitable business model which also contributes to the development of the rural population. And before he started his journey of entrepreneurship, he was into journalism, where he was mostly focusing on covering the news related to business segment development, and that's where he got ideas, and he could identify a number of gaps which already exist in different segments and sectors of businesses. During his experience in journalism, he realized that the main media does not cover unheard voices and real issues from the remote areas of Odisha, which gave him an idea to create something for himself, and hence in 2013 he started Live Odisha Private Limited, and through this he created a niche for himself in the industry. By 2017, with his first venture already being stable, he started Splendid Medical DD Private Limited, which is basically a venture to provide medical services to the demands of urban population. The services which are offered by the company are personal and home nursing services, home delivery of medicines, medical equipment leasing, sample collection, which is in association with ThyroCare, doctor and nurses on call, etc. This venture selects and trains the youth from the rural areas, and they are giving training on the nursing services, and then they are deployed as and when the demand for the particular service is there. And for this, the government of Odisha also provides a support in the training of the personnel. Further, after this, he started Varosa Foods Private Limited in 2009, which is basically a venture to capitalize on the lack of a local brand which would provide pure and quality food items at a reasonable price. If I talk about the other co-founder, which is myself, C. Ayush Sharma, I am a qualified chartered accountant. I had qualified in November 2015 examination. I had secured All India rank 24 in that attempt. Post my qualification, I had joined General Electric in the finance management program, which is a leadership program, and it is being run by them for more than 100 years now. After my brief stint at GE which in financial planning and analysis, I joined Investec, which is an investment bank with its office in Mumbai, and which is dual listed in South Africa and London. I was working as a equity research associate there, and covering a gamut of sectors which involved cement, metals and minerals, plastics, building materials, mid-caps, etc. Prior to my qualification as a chartered accountant, I had done my article training from Grant Thornton in the audit and assurance services, and my 1 year of industrial training was at General Electric, which was in the finance controllership department again. While I was pursuing my articleship with Grant Thornton, I had also cleared 2 levels of CFA curriculum USA, and I'm a CFA level 3 candidate. And I have done my bachelor's from Hindu College, Delhi University, and I'm an alumni of Bishop Cotton Boys School, Bangalore. I come from a business family, and that's how I have always had a bent of entrepreneurship in me. I come from a really small town in Odisha, which is kind of a mining belt, and most of the mining and metals company have their operations in the town. So it kind of always pushed me to get into entrepreneurship of one form or the other. And my vision is to kind of create a network which can efficiently connect with the rural population with everything that's happening in and around the country and across the globe. Our present operations are being managed by a team of 14 members, and with the scale of operations that we are currently running, that is 17 stores and 1 warehouse, the team is capable of handling the entire operations. And in future, the size of the team will depend on the scale of operations that we are targeting or we are looking at. Since the operations are not complicated and can be done by anyone, we don't intend to hire someone who is really highly qualified at this point of time. On the side of ownership structure, we are willing to dilute our shareholding in the company, and we wish to sell the stake to raise the money which is required for the expansion and growth that we are looking at for now.
अगर आरएफटी का बिजनेस मॉडल देखा जाएगा तो आरएफटी कंप्लीटली ट्रेडिंग के ऊपर बिजनेस करता है। यहाँ पे क्या करता है हमारा कंपनी, जो डायरेक्ट मैन्युफैक्चर से और डायरेक्ट कंज्यूमर तक पहुंचाना है। अगर देखा जाए कि प्रॉफिट बुकिंग कैसा होता है कि हम डायरेक्ट कंज्यूमर को सेल करते हैं, मैन्युफैक्चर से लेकर कंज्यूमर को सेल करके हमारा प्रॉफिट बुकिंग करते हैं। हमारा 20% हमारा प्रॉफिट बुकिंग होता है, जो 20 लोग को हटा के अगर देखेंगे तो 20% को हम शेयर करते हैं हमारा जो फ्रेंचाइजर ओनर है और हमारा जो कंज्यूमर है। कंज्यूमर को ट्राई टू आवर बेस्ट के चीपेस्ट प्राइस में हम माल देते हैं और हमारा डीलर को हम मार्जिन देते हैं, और जो बचा हमारा प्रॉफिट है। लास्ट 6 मंथ का हम रिव्यू करेंगे तो लास्ट 6 मंथ में हमारा नेट ग्रॉस प्रॉफिट हुआ था 20%। अगर देखेंगे नेट मार्जिन देखेंगे तो 2% बचा था, क्योंकि हमारा बिजनेस इनिशियल लेवल पे था तो हमको बहुत सारे लर्निंग करना था, बहुत सारे जो बल्क प्रोक्यूरमेंट इतना सारे नहीं हो पाया था। तो आगे आगे जितना भी ये सब मार्जिन का लेवल आगे आगे बढ़ता जाएगा, क्योंकि हमारा बहुत सारा एक्सपीरियंस भी मिलता है हमको। तो ये इन फ्यूचर ये मार्जिन प्रॉफिट बुकिंग अगर देखेंगे तो 5 to 7% प्रॉफिट बुकिंग आ जाएगा। अगर हमको 3 to 4 करोड़ का इन्वेस्टमेंट मिले तो इन्वेस्टमेंट में हम क्या करेंगे, तो इन्वेस्टमेंट को लेके पहले से हमारा जो 700 एप्लीकेंट है, जो उनके पास पूरा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है और जो प्रॉपर तरीके में वो जो सिलेक्ट हुए हैं वो हमारा उसको पहले कन्वर्ट करेंगे। जो स्ट्रेटेजिकल स्टोर है जो 700 स्टोर, उसको हम 300 स्टोर इनिशियली उसको कन्वर्ट करेंगे। अगर लास्ट मंथ का हम बिजनेस रिव्यू के हिसाब से हम कैलकुलेट करेंगे तो हमारा हर स्टोर में 5 लाख का बिजनेस होता है पर मंथ। अगर उस हिसाब से हम जो 300 स्टोर का हम बात कर रहे हैं, 300 स्टोर का अगर कैलकुलेशन करेंगे तो पर महीना हम 5 लाख से हिसाब से 300 स्टोर को अगर कैलकुलेशन करेंगे तो 180 करोड़ का बिजनेस हो रहा है पर ईयर। अगर उस हिसाब से हम देखेंगे तो 9 करोड़ का बिजनेस प्रॉफिट बुकिंग हम पर ईयर कर सकते हैं।
We've tried to give a brief introduction into the different segments of our business, and I hope you are able to get some clarity. We've tried to keep it as brief as possible, and we expect that you would call us and contact us for any further discussions that you might want to have, and we could take the due diligence activities forward. Thank you.